Residents of Myersville and St. Elizabeth are calling Gisco Allpart management to compensate them for damages they encounter as a result of the excessive dust from the plant. This comes after residents were allegedly told by Gisco Allpart that they won't be compensated. Here is Christine Forbes.
Distressed residents gathered outside the gates of Gisco Allpart calling for immediate action to be taken against the bauxite alumina plant for its disregard of citizens' health. The residents say they are unable to go on with their daily duties because of the excessive dust coming from the plant. They insist the mud lake is a nuisance and is putting their health at risk.
Under me veranda Friday and Saturday, devastated, worse than this year. Everywhere around the while. I know me I talk to you and me host, me throat sore.
Residents say there is a growing lack of concern coming from the management of Gisco Allpart whenever they try to report their concerns. According to the councillor of the Myersville division, Allpart is not watering the mud lake because of the temporary closure. Instead, he explains Allpart is using a chemical to reduce the effects of the dust.
They are saying that they won't pay no form of compensation for the dust nuisance, neither to farmers, household, and they would not be sending anyone to the doctor. I said to them there's an environmental policy that governs the whole Allpart issue from in the 90s, and they can't just go around and change it. Sun Jin, the Chinese manager, said to me that they won't be paying any compensation.
Member of Parliament for South St. Elizabeth, Franklin Witter, says there were plans to relocate residents living in the area.
We know that relocation will happen overnight, but at least we want to see it start. We were promised that they would start with 10 houses. Nothing has happened. We want to start that discussion now to see how quick the relocation can start.
CVM Live reached out to Gisco Allpart for a response, but phones went unanswered. Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
How stable is the bridge that you traverse on a daily basis? It is a question that many persons have not considered, but is crucial to know. The state and maintenance of the country's bridges is managed under the portfolio of the National Works Agency. Our reporter Khadija Thomas spoke with its Communications and Customer Service Manager and has this report.
This is a bridge located across the Sandy Gully in Kingston. Residents say it has been in place for decades and had been calling for it to be repaired. However, this bridge is not the responsibility of the National Works Agency, NWA, which has over 700 bridges in its database. Communications and Customer Service Manager at the NWA, Stephen Shaw, explains that the agency has a process of inspection that is carried out annually.
We have a program of routine inspection. So happen that for this year, we have set ourselves the target of inspecting roughly 1/7 of the structures that we have, which is shade over 100, that we are going to be inspecting leading up to the end of the fiscal year, which you know that is the end of March.
Shaw says the National Works Agency has identified defective bridges across the island which will be repaired.
We have on the network roughly 10% of the structures that we would say are defective.
He says the NWA has been removing these defective structures and implementing restrictions for the safety of those who use the bridges.
One structure that I know persons would be looking or have been looking forward to for a while is that at Mahoganyville in St. Thomas, and we are at a stage now where the contract is being procured.
Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
The principal of a preschool in St. Catherine says inconsistent garbage collection at the school is stifling the school's efforts to safeguard children against the deadly dengue virus. She says several attempts to get the garbage removed from the compound have been unsuccessful. Christine Forbes reports.
When CVM Live visited the God Bless preschool, piles of garbage were packed outside of the premises awaiting collection. The principal of the institution, Elaine Williams, says children as young as 1 year and 6 months are at risk of getting sick because of the uncollected garbage.
All the barrel them dirty pampers in them. It need a cause a scent now. We can't continue like this because it's not good for children them. Because when the breeze blow, it send come right back in high school. Every time that the breeze blow, you do the pampers, it send them come back in high school. We can't continue like this, man.
Principal Williams explains that some of the garbage has been there since November last year. She adds that on several occasions the garbage truck passed without collecting the garbage, despite her attempt to signal them to stop.
I'm so tough to attack against the sickness them, so tough to have to come and look to. Because we can't afford to have dengue and other disease where you say we can't get from they do the pampers and the hands. When the place not clean, because when the place not clean, we will catch up these diseases. It's not clean now. It's not clean now. Now we find the rubbish truck and then come for the rubbish.
Williams says her pleas to relevant authorities have been to no avail.
So we can't continue like this now. So somebody have to come. We can't find the councillor, we can't find the MP. When we visit the parish council, you say them out, take it in hand, nobody come. Nobody no come. We can't be out next week like this. We can't be out next week like this, man. It's sent to kill all of us.
Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
The Ministry of Tourism says it will be declaring Port Royal as a prescribed area under the Jamaica Tourist Board Act. The Act prescribes types of businesses or activities and the conduct of persons in and around the area. The announcement follows a recent meeting with government officials. Representatives from the Port Authority of Jamaica, Urban Development Corporation, the security forces and others regarding the development of Port Royal. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Port Royal will not be a free-for-all or a place for hustlers and thugs to harass people. He adds that it will be a place for Jamaicans as well as visitors. The ministry says it wants to create a safe and hassle-free environment for tourists ahead of the first cruise vessel which is expected to arrive on Sunday. The Morella Discovery 2 has the capacity to carry almost 2,000 passengers. And those were the major stories for Monday, January 13. We'll be back with regional and international news after a short break.
The state of the roads in a section of Port Antonio, Portland has compromised the efficiency of fire units being able to connect to residents, becoming a cause for major concern. According to the councillor for the area, promises were made to have the problem addressed, but it's yet to be rectified. Khadija Thomas tells us more.
A section of the roadway in the town of Port Antonio, an area often used by the fire brigade, is urgently in need of fixing. Residents say the issue happened over time and appears to have worsened, resulting in delays from the fire brigade to respond to emergencies. Councillor for the Port Antonio Division, Dexter Roland, says representatives have been calling for it to be fixed.
I have made contact with the National Works Agency. Was promised more than once to have the matter addressed. The last discussion I had with the parish manager was about 3 weeks ago. But it has since died.
The councillor says they are now awaiting the intervention of the National Works Agency. However, there are other linked issues to address. Along with the road, there's a problem with where motorists are parking along this stretch, making it difficult for the fire brigade to move about.
What was brought to my attention, so I'm going to have a discussion with the superintendent of Road and Works and the secretary manager, the CEO, to have this matter addressed. This is a matter that I think will be addressed quickly before the weekend.
CVM Live reached out to the Port Antonio Fire Brigade to get their views on the road issue. However, we were advised that the communication team will provide feedback once available. Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
Millions of dollars are being spent in Portland geared towards local housing development and infirmary renovation. That's according to the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, who was speaking at the groundbreaking for indigent housing in the parish. Khadija Thomas reports.
Overjoyed. One of the beneficiaries of local housing in Portland expresses her happiness at the groundbreaking ceremony held recently. It is part of the government's indigent housing program under the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
The poor don't know any politics. Hunger don't know politics. When you're living without a roof over your head, it don't know politics. Our responsibility is to provide the basic needs for the people who are in need.
Under the indigent housing program, the government aims to improve the living conditions of many Jamaicans, particularly those in dire need of assistance, by providing them with housing solutions free of cost.
We are spending some very good money in Portland. Over 40 million is being spent down at the infirmary to build a brand new ward which